Good evening and welcome to Hot News, your most authoritative evening political show in the country. We're coming to you from our studios in Abelempe 48 Swanika Street here in Accra. We're live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. We're also live on YouTube at Pan-African Television. You can join in the conversation by sending your views, comments and contributions on WhatsApp. We'll make a time and read those up for you. Those of you watching us on Facebook can, for other people to also get an opportunity to watch tonight's edition of the program. You can also leave your comments, suggestions on our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. We'll make a time and read those up for you. My name is Justice Appiah, and tonight on Hot News we're looking at fight against Galamsey. The Minister of Information, Kojo Ponkrumah, has been speaking on the issue. Also, the government has been telling us how far they have gone with the fight against Galamsey. The Land and Natural Resources Deputy Minister Designate appeared before the appointment committee. He has also spoken on how to reclaim, the lands, and water bodies affected by the menacing problem. I'm talking about Galamsey. But before I introduce my guest for the discussion to start, let's go and listen to government on, the fight against Galamsey so far and what they are doing to, mitigate the problem. Let's go and listen. We'll be right back.
A total of 592 assorted items were destroyed. 592 assorted items were destroyed. You can see fire burning some of the items. Whilst 3 Chinese nationals and there are 2 Ghanaian drivers were arrested. So in this case, 5 persons have been arrested. 3 Chinese nationals and 2 Ghanaian counterparts. The breakdown of the items that were destroyed are as follows. Excavators, 24. Shamfai machines and platforms, 341. Water pumping machines, 123. Wooden accommodations to structure, 30. OMB, 10. Gensets, 4. The gensets, were 6. Grinding machines, 4. So these grinding machines, they used to crush the rocks. Huge grinding machines that they used to crush the rocks and wash these rocks into the water through drawing water from the rivers and washing them. It's very dangerous. And this is the one that they use a lot of mercury, they use a lot of cyanide to wash. Because when you grind, you have to use that to wash the rocks to extract. Motorbikes, 6 were burnt or destroyed. Water hose, 14. Barrel of fuel, 30. For rows and mats, there were 2 minutes to count. Welding and dredging machines, 4. So the excavators, 24. Shamfai machines, 341. Pumping machines, 123. Wooden structures, 30. OMB, 10. Gensets, 6. Grinding machines, 4. Motorbikes, 6. Water hose, 14. Barrels of fuel, 30. We realized that although a considerable number of excavators were also found and destroyed, but it was observed, and you can see the Shamfais being destroyed. It was observed that some illegal miners had moved their mining equipment, particularly excavators, to just nearby communities. So you are passing and you can see huge excavators standing in communities. But they've moved them out of the 100-meter zone. But you can see that this is a little community, and then you have 10, 20 excavators standing there. You know that they were using to do illegal things. But because it's not within the 100 meters, you cannot destroy them. So the armed forces will pass and move on. We need to take a decision about some of these things as a government and as a people. So like I said, that some illegal miners had moved their mining equipment, particularly excavators, to nearby communities that were out of the speculated 100-meter limit of operational activity for major river bodies. For instance, there's a community called Esua. Troops chanced upon 11 excavators that have been moved 2 kilometers away from the illegal mining site along the river Ankobra, with the possibility, of course, of illegal miners redeploying the equipment at an opportunity. The attitude or reaction of the local inhabitants towards the operation is largely very positive. Locals openly condemned the practice and supported the destruction of equipment. And in some instances, the locals urged the troops to burn equipment that were moved out of the red zone. But of course, the armed forces would always decline. But they were urging them that, look, this one was working here. Force area reconnaissance revealed that there is serious destruction in the forest as well, and then the non-forest areas in the Galamsey infested communities, with leaving virtually no land for other activities like farming. And so it's a big, big problem. And these are areas that produce a lot of cocoa for us, you know, and if people destroy this equipment, destroy this, leave huge gullies, and the people don't have a place to farm, that we're in big, big trouble as a country. We, as I said, we've made our position very clear. The armed forces who are operating on the ground have made their position very clear that we should review the law and allow the allowable distance to increase from the 100 meters beyond the 100 meters, especially to be able to preserve our water bodies, because they've realized that a lot of the activities that actually pollute the water as well are done outside the 100 meters. But then they cause huge pollution within the river bodies, because they degrade these lands 1 kilometer away, 2 kilometers away, and when it rains, the waters are sipped back into the river bodies. Like I said before, rivers are normally lowland, and the highlands are the banks. So when you do anything 1 kilometer away and it rains, all the bad water just pours back into the river, and you might not see the clear water as we are. But of course, clearly the water body, the impact of the Operation Vanguard has been very substantial, as several excavators and other mining equipment were immobilized within the red zones. The Ankobra River, as well as the Bonso rivers, a lot of the areas that the armed forces have operated have been saved, and we hope that those illegal miners who have abandoned their mining sites will not come. That was the Defense
Minister Dominic Aduna Bengab Niti speaking over there. Also, the Information Minister Kojo Ponkrumah has been telling Ghanaians on the state of prosecutions so made in terms of persons they've arrested, you know, in the illegal mining business. Let's go and listen to him. We'll be right back.
George Asante and 31 others. These are the persons who initially, the reports that came out were that some national security people have been arrested doing mining elsewhere. It turns out they are not national security persons. The accused persons on the 11th of May 2021 were arraigned before the Koforidua Circuit Court B on provisional charges, namely 2 counts of conspiracy to commit crime, that's reconnaissance for minerals and reconnaissance for minerals without lawful authority. The accused persons were arrested by the town folk themselves, as usual. The Republic versus Wei Ganming and another. This case involves a Chinese national arrested from Atioku in the Memphis West near Takwa. The 2 Chinese nationals were arraigned before an Accra Circuit Court for the offense of mining without authority or without license. They've been remanded to appear on the 2nd of June 2021. I think that's today. So there's also the Republic versus Yang Hua and 2 others. In this case, 2 Chinese nationals and a Ghanaian who were illegally mining were arrested from Inchi in the western region. They were arraigned before the Circuit Court in Accra on the 12th of May 2021 for the offense of mining without license. They have been remanded to reappear on the 31st of May 2021. So I'm sure they would have appeared by now. That would have been about 2 days ago. The Republic versus Hui Linghua and 5 others. I think this is the Asankregwa case. If you followed, that raid was conducted by the national security apparatus, and Hui Linghua and 5 others were arrested and are before the authorities on suspicion of having been involved in various offenses, including running a casino, trading in gold without authorization, etc. The accused persons have been remanded in police custody for further investigations. They were supposed to appear in court yesterday. The CID is now handling the case. I think there are some of the photos of some of the exhibits that were gathered. So to answer one of the previous questions about what is happening to prosecution. Prosecution is underway.
Mr. Kojo Ponkroma speaking to the media. Now, on our final video, Deputy Minister Designate for Lands and Natural Resources appeared before the appointment committee, and he has also talked about how lands that have been, of course, destroyed by these galamseyers will be reclaimed. Let's go and listen to him. We'll be right back.
Was due to the fact that there was some bit of misunderstanding on the previous arrangement that, or the stage of discussion that they reached. The Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, when these issues started happening recently, he invited me to the ministry because he wanted to know from me the position that the ministry took. Yes, there were records of all meetings that were held at the ministry, and we went through that with the Traditional Council also at the table, and we all agreed that yes, we did not come to a finality, and so there was need for more discussion. As we speak now, the minister has made me to chair that particular committee that is handling the issue. If you can cast your mind back, after the disturbances, and then now there's calm on the front. There's calm. There is no noise going on. Why? Because we are meeting them.
There's no protest or noise. What do you call noise, Mr. Nominee?
Oh, there was some bit of noise and protest.
I still want to stand by the use of the word noise.
No, as time to be corrected.
Thank you. Continue.
Yes. So the protests have stopped. The military and the Traditional Council, together with the ministry and Lands Commission, are still at the table. We visited the sites in contention. Surveyors have surveyed there. The military have shown us what they are doing there. And soon, a complete report will come out. And I know it will be acceptable to all parties.
Well, you're still watching Hot News right here on Pan-African Television with me, Justice. Keep your messages coming in on our WhatsApp text line on 0544-235984, 0544-235984. You can as well leave your suggestions, questions, comments, and whatnot on our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at Pan-African Television. We are live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. You can share the Facebook Live post for other people to also get an opportunity to watch tonight's edition of the program. I've been joined in the studio by Commandante Sakut Amega Ethical, who is a member of the National Democratic Congress communications team, a youth activist, and a journalist. Good evening, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Before we discuss the issue tabled up for discussion, tomorrow is June 4th, and yes, the National Democratic Congress will be celebrating the 42nd anniversary.
That's right.
Of this. How significant is this? Do we still have to celebrate this whole thing, this whole June 4th thing?
Thank you, Justice, for inviting me on your show, your esteemed show. I'm happy to be here. And to your question, June 4 is the most significant date in the calendar of the National Democratic Congress.
What makes it significant for the NDC?
Because it is the antecedent of the NDC. Because without June 4, NDC would never have been born. June 4 was the beginning of that new orientation of Ghanaian politics, where people who were not elites, ordinary people, fishermen, market women, drivers, students, the people took power from corrupt government officials. They positively defied the corrupt system that was suffocating the Ghanaian people. And that's why the NDC has put it in the constitution that June 4 every year must be observed, and the lessons therein are taken and inculcated into the programs and the activities of the party. And so it is very, very significant to the extent that it has been kept in the constitution. And usually the founder of the NDC, President Rawlings, late now, may his soul rest in peace, he mainly was a champion of June 4 because the principles or the values that form the bedrock of the NDC are the same principles and values that gave birth to the
What were those principles and values?
For example, the principles of integrity in public office, the principles of probity and accountability, where it is that people who are in public office must give social, what we call democratic accountability for their stewardship. Positive defiance, for example, that you have a system or a government that is ruling with iron fist, that perpetuates culture of silence, that perpetuates corruption, and the people must be able to stand up and say enough is enough. That is what the June 4 stood for. That the ordinary people at the point said the people in power have taken us for granted for so long that it is time to defy authority. It is time to say enough is enough. And this was led by young people. And as you are aware, President Rawlings, for example, was about 31, 32 years old when he led this whole thing. And most of the people who were with him were young people in the universities, students who went to carry cocoa from the farms, repair railways, etc. The young people of 1979 were totally different from the young people of 2021 in Ghana today. Because
what makes them different?
Because in 1979, the conditions, the material conditions of the people got so bad to the point that the people could no longer keep quiet, and they defied it. They had the courage. They didn't care about the consequences. They stood up. Today in 2021, the material conditions of the people is actually worse than it was in 1979. The kind of impunity that goes on in government, in public service, is worse than was in 1979. But why is it that people are quiet? Why is there a culture of silence? Why is it that everybody has suddenly gone mute? Is it because the people are timid? Is it because young people these days are too timid to speak up, to stand up for their rights?
NDC, according to you, was birthed on the back of June 4th.
That's right.
And that it has some principles and values.
That's right.
Let's interrogate whether or not the NDC is adhering to those principles and values.
For example, I think that the principles and values of the NDC, the principles of probity and accountability, of social justice, of integrity in public office, these principles, these values are values that actually you can materialize when you're in government.
You have been in government. NDC has been in government.
Yes, but the NDC is in opposition now. So do you want us to talk about when they were in government?
Did they do that when they were in government?
Well, I would say that, you see, the NDC from 1992, when the NDC was formed formally, it became a National Democratic Congress, which means it's a congress of all people from all shades of political ideology. So even though the base are the people who came from the revolutionary cadres who joined Rawlings in the June 4, there are many Vanilla boys, farmers, lawyers, etc., who were not necessarily ideologically to the left, who joined the NDC. Some were even to the right, extreme right, some in the center. Some had no affiliations who joined the NDC. That's why it's become a National Democratic Congress. So I will say on this score that it is not everybody in the NDC as a mass party today who really understand these bedrock values of the NDC and even espouse them, because it's a congress of different shades. But I will say that as long as our founder was alive, where it was necessary, he continued to crack the whip in terms of speaking out against non-adherence to the principles and the values that gave birth to the NDC. And it is obvious that you cannot have everybody in government adhering to these principles.
An admission that the NDC has deviated from those principles.
I don't think the NDC as a party has deviated, but I think we have had leadership that has not been selfless enough. We have had leadership in the past that have not had the required integrity. We've had leadership that has not been transparent. We've had leadership that has not been responsive to the ordinary people. We've had leadership that acted as though they were even capitalists instead of social democrats. But the party as a vehicle, as a social democratic vehicle, the bedrock principles are enshrined. And therefore, there's a difference between theory and practice. And so, I don't think that as long as the principles are concerned, that you can say that the NDC does not adhere to these principles. But not everyone in leadership is really adhering to these principles, because first of all, some don't believe in them. Secondly, there are some people who have joined the NDC now not because of the June 4 or its underpinnings, but because of certain personalities in the party. For example, there are many people in the NDC now today who do not even know how June 4 came about, and who participated in June 4, and how it is that the PNDC, AFRC metamorphosed into NDC. They don't know, because they probably joined the NDC because of John Mahama, who's the leader today, or Atamels, who was leader yesterday. There are those who joined the NDC because of Rawlings. And therefore, those who may be the ones who probably think about the June 4. So I think the NDC needs this kind of new orientation.
Does it also mean that when somebody joins their party, these principles and values are imbibed in these people to understand what the National Democratic Congress is about?
Yes, indeed, I agree, and I think that the NDC needs something like the Young Pioneers, the NDC created something that we call the Institute of Social Democracy. It's supposed to be a party ideological school that is at the headquarters, but I don't think that it is playing that effective role in terms of orienting young people. I think that Institute of Social Democracy needs to really be much more structured in a way that a lot of the old talent, the old cadres who were trained in the Soviet Union, in Russia, in America, different places, who have a very good understanding of the ideological opinions of this party, they have to pass this on. They also have to write books. A lot of our people, our leaders, are not writing books. They need to write books and to express these values and these principles and the ideology clearly in these books for the young people to read. And also, we need to deliberately, the NDC needs to deliberately teach the young people of Ghana, not just NDC young people, to teach the right history. Because if you want your opponents to teach the history, they will distort it. They will give mishistory. Because if you look at mainstream media narrative, the impression has been created as though June 4 was an evilous act or event. But the history will absolve those who were the architects of June 4. Because today, the same reasons that give rise to June 4, to that uprising, we've returned back to the same place. Look, we are in the country in 2021, whereby people claim, our president claims there's no culture of silence, and yet, what happens when people openly make a question the president or do investigative reports that expose corrupt officials in government? People have lost their lives in this country. Journalists have lost their lives in this country just for exposing what is happening in this government. This is 2021. There are people, government officials, who have been caught in so many corrupt activities, and they simply just say, we don't care, do whatever you like. They keep them in office. And the people are not rising up. The people even want to go out there and just make a little demonstration. They say, fix the country now. The government says, we will not allow you to express your views. We will not allow you to go out there because of COVID, because we don't want you to spread COVID. Yet, today, what are the ministers all saying? They are doing a grand funeral of Sir John, the MPP, former General Secretary. So it means that when they make this argument about COVID, it's not based on principle. Because why is it that when the Ghanaian people want to go out and express themselves, then this COVID is used to prevent them from gathering, and yet the same COVID argument doesn't apply when you have to go and bury your former general secretary, who has been dead for so many months. Now COVID has suddenly disappeared. This is not principle.
All right.
Okay? So I'm saying that June 4, if the young people of today were really like the young people of 1979, if we had the courage, if the young people of today were not so timid, and I'm very disappointed in Ghanaian young people today, because you find that the same young people are even defending the corrupt government. The same young people are defending corrupt government officials. The same young people are defending the culture of silence. So how can we positively defy the corrupt system when it is that we, the young people, are the one endorsing what is going on? And this is one lesson we've missed from 1979, from Rawlings and his colleagues and all those people who changed the narrative of our politics. Right. They had the courage. We should learn from it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your submission on that. That was actually supposed to be a passing comment. So we move on to the topic of discussion now. Let's come back to the issue of Galamsey.
Yes.
Government has been updating the good people of Ghana on measures taken to make sure that this menacing problem is stopped. One of those the burning of excavators and all of that. Your take on that?
In fact, Justice, I think one of the most senseless things that any government of Ghana has ever done in my living memory is the burning of the excavators.
What makes it senseless?
It is so senseless because, first of all, the excavators are useful. They are useful for the public. They are useful for public good. Look, I was just listening to, is it the deputy minister designate for whatever, who talked about reclaiming
the land.
What are they going to use to reclaim the land? Is it not excavators? It's not excavators that was used to dig and create all these holes. What are they going to use to reclaim the land? Excavators. But they are burning excavators. So where are they going to find the excavators to reclaim the land? They are going to buy some with our money? Isn't it senseless? That's the first point.
Wait a minute, but let's also, bear our minds to this.
Yes.
That government seized some excavators.
Yes.
And up to today, they are unable to account for those excavators that were seized.
That's right.
Or, some of those excavators found their ways back into the forest, destroying our water bodies and all of that.
Yes.
Isn't it sensible for government to burn these excavators this time around?
No, it is not sensible. It is actually senseless. Because, look, the government runs the national security of this country. How can government tell us that they seized excavators and those excavators disappeared from the face of the earth and they could not find these excavators? How is it possible that government will tell us that they cannot find the excavators that went missing? They know that the same people who are part of the government are the ones who own these excavators. Look, Justice, let's be honest. Which opposition people in this country today can afford to buy excavators? Opposition people. We all know that the people who are buying these excavators and using them for Galamsey belong to the MPP party and government. They have the money to buy these excavators. And they are the ones who take the excavators and redistribute it among themselves. So burning the excavator is so senseless because, first of all, you should have the capacity to be able to seize the excavators and not let it go back. If you are serious, if the security is serious, you seize the excavators, you take them, give them to these assemblies, let them use them for development purposes. That's the first thing. Secondly, where are the owners of those excavators? How come that we only see excavators that have been burnt, but we don't see the owners?
But you had the information minister who has talked about some persons who are, under prosecution.
Some persons, the 5 Chinese people that are paraded on television. Why? Well, we know what happened to Aisha Wang. Where is she? The notorious Chinese Galamsey or whatever that she was, that was arrested and released by Osafo Mafu, deported, etc. What happened to her? What happened to the people who actually lead these Chinese people into our forests to go and do the illegal money? What happened to the chiefs who lease these lands, who give out these lands knowingly? Recently, or 32, the Asantene, actually accused the chiefs. He accused the chiefs of being the people who are giving way for this illegal activity. What has happened to the chiefs? That the government want to tell us they don't know the chiefs who are corroborating in cahoots with these illegal miners. They know them. I just say they don't know the people who own the excavators. They don't know them. So if you come and bury Chinese 5 people, for 5 years of in power, you are burying 5 Chinese people. Justice, let me also ask this question. Do you remember that some media house, some journalists went to expose some military men in uniform who were actually guarding and protecting illegal miners? Do you remember that report? What has happened to those soldiers? The military commander didn't even bother to even give a response to the public. This is Akufo-Addo's MPP government. So all what they're doing now is just gimmicks, lip service, parading 5 Chinese people and telling us that they're doing prosecutions. Look, what is his name? Charles Bisu, a government official, was caught by Anas Aramia, investigative journalist, on camera taking money for facilitating Galamsey. This guy still keeps his job under President Akufo-Addo. So
he's no more the the secretary to the committee,
but he still has a job with government. Or has he paid for? Has he been punished? Has he been prosecuted?
He has a job with government,
but has he been prosecuted?
Well, government has demanded for the raw tape.
Aha! How many years now? You see, so we are going to wait for government to now take it forever.
The question is, did they provide the raw tape demanded by government?
The government knows how the government saw, the tape we all saw, the guy was taking money.
You cannot conclude that once somebody is taking money and counting money, that amounts to corruption.
When it came to Kwesi Ntachi, we all agreed and concluded that it amounted to corruption. So how come now it comes to Charles Bisu, who's a government official, then it doesn't amount to corruption? It does amount to corruption in terms of public perception.
So somebody sees you on a camera,
yes,
taking money,
yes,
counting money,
yes.
Would it be right or prudent enough for one to have concluded that you have accepted right?
Don't forget that footage wasn't just a video. It was also audio. It's audio visual. There was a discussion. They were talking about Galamsey business. You know, we all know. So I'm just making this point to say that all this shows that the people who are pursuing this Galamsey are the same people who are part of this government. And so the government, if they really want to fight this Galamsey, they should crack the whip on their own people and stop pretending. Stop these gimmicks of parading 5 Chinese people on television to tell us all that they are fighting Galamsey, burning excavators. And look, how can the president tell us that you cannot speak? You can go to court if you think that burning excavators is wrong. Burning excavators is extrajudicial action.
What's wrong if the president says so?
Because he claims that he believes in the rule of law. And if he believes in the rule of law, and if somebody is committing a crime, you take the person to court. The court will say that, hey, the equipment they're using for the activity is illegal, therefore we are seizing it, we give it to the state, and the state can do whatever they want to do with it. You cannot just make yourself a court, a law on yourself, and decide that burn the excavator. When we talk, we say go to court. Now, are you telling the fisherman and the driver that he cannot speak if you go to court? Because look, is it cheap to go to court in Ghana? Is it cheap? And our judges, are they really fair? Or are they corrupt? Are they on the side of government? All these are questions we can ask. So if you say go to court, that's one way of imposing the culture of silence. Because if I cannot go to court, I can't afford to go to court, and I cannot talk, what else do I do? I keep quiet. So if the president tells us that there's no culture of silence, he has to come again. Because if you tell me to go to court, just to let you draw your attention to the fact that what you're doing is illegal, it means you have become authoritarian. You become a monarch. You cannot tell us we should go to court. The trotro never has the right to complain. Don't say you should go to court. Now, you have to do the right thing.
Now, the fight, the issue of Galamsey did not start under this government. Under former President John Dramani Mahama, people were still into Galamsey and all of that.
Yes.
The fight is one that all of us would have to come together as a people to be able to fight it.
Yes.
What specifically did the NDC do in fighting the menacing problem when they were in power?
Oh, so we are not doing comparison.
I'm not doing comparison, but it looks as if the NDC is always good at pointing problems without preferring solutions and all of that.
First of all,
what did you do?
First of all, the NDC was voted out of power because the Ghanaians thought the NDC didn't do enough. And because MPP...
So they voted you out because you couldn't fight Galamsey properly?
No, they said we didn't do enough to solve the problems in general of Ghanaians, including Galamsey. MPP comes and claims that we are the champions, we can do it better. And we've given the power to them. This is 5 years. They said they come to transform. They said give us 4 more years to transform Ghana. To transform, that's such a big word. Now when we even say fix the country, they say shut up. So if you cannot fix, how do you transform? And so I'd like to go away from this idea of trying to compare the past, what the NDC do. NDC has been voted out for whatever they didn't do. The people who are in power must give what you call it, democratic accountability. They must account.
Okay. Let's put the past aside.
That's right.
Currently, NDC as the biggest opposition party in this country.
Yes.
What are you doing to help government fight the problem?
Well, do you think that the NDC, government needs the help of the NDC to fight the problem? Government has the state apparatus, government has the military, the police, government has the national security, government has even invisible forces and delta forces. Do they need the NDC to help them to fight Galamsey?
You think that government doesn't need the NDC to fight Galamsey?
No.
Fantastic.
But
you are the biggest opposition party in this country.
Yes.
What alternatives are you suggesting?
Oh, this is what, and don't forget that I'm speaking my opinions. Look, the NDC has constantly pointed out to the government that, look, you are fighting this thing from the wrong direction. You are pretending that you don't know who the culprits are. You are shooting aimlessly when you go about chasing the pawns instead of going for the kingpins. The real Galamsey queens and kings, they are there. You know them. They are in your government. In fact, there are also some opposition elements. There are some people who are not necessarily in the government who are also part of this Galamsey. There are opposition elements. There are all kinds of political players and business people who are involved. To be fair, it's not that everybody who is doing Galamsey belongs to one political party. There are a lot of people who belong to even opposition parties who are doing Galamsey. So you know the people. Go to the root. Really fight it. If you want to fight it, really do it authentically and honestly. Don't pretend that you are fighting it when you are not fighting it, when the thing is getting worse. When people are caught, cut the way. Soldiers were caught illegally deployed to the forest, guiding illegal mining. Those soldiers ought to answer questions. If a government is in power and the commander-in-chief is in charge of armed forces, and the army goes into the forest and do illegal activities, and the president does nothing, the government does nothing, what can the opposition do? The opposition will only point out to you that you must cut the whip where it matters, unless it is that there's impunity in this country.
The opposition that is seeking the mandate of the people,
yes,
has every responsibility to tell the people what they can do.
That's right.
To help solve the situation when they're given the nod.
Yes, but we are in the 5th year of Akufo-Addo. And he has 3 more years to go. The NDC cannot do anything about Galamsey until 2024 or 2025 when the NDC forms government. What we can do now is to suggest to Akufo-Addo what to do with the power he has.
What suggestions have you made so far?
I'm not going to give the official suggestions because I don't think there's an official list of
you
suggestions.
are
but
communicating for the party.
I'm speaking as I'm an activist of the NDC, but I don't speak for the NDC. I speak my opinions. Okay. So I'm not a spokesperson for party spokesperson. I'm just a party activist. But this is the point I'm making. That what the NDC can do now is to make suggestions to the MPP that has the power. The NDC really cannot do anything.
Has your party made some suggestions that you know?
Oh, I've heard a lot of our party executives on the airwave and etc. make a lot of suggestions.
What suggestions did they make?
I've just repeated them here. For example, what is the sense in arresting Chinese people and then letting them go? What is the sense in arresting the people who are operating, arresting the excavators and leaving the people who are operating the excavators? What is the sense in arresting the people who are just working on the lands and leaving the people who are sponsoring the work? What is the sense in arresting 5 Chinese people and ignoring the chiefs who gave these Chinese people the land to mine and to share and to destroy the land? So stop shooting aimlessly. Target at the people, the root cause. If you really want to fight Galamsey, do not pretend you are fighting it. Do not enrich yourself with Galamsey whilst pretend you are fighting it. Really fight it properly. And how do you do that? You have to ignore the politics, whether the people belong to MPP or NDC is not important, whether they are chiefs, big chiefs, small chiefs. Crime is crime. Do not try to discriminate. And that is what this government is doing. This government must not turn a blind eye to the real culprits and be pretending that they are fighting it. So, I would say
the real culprits.
The real culprits are the people who, for example, bought those excavators, those who gave the land out, those who go to guide these illegal miners, like the military people who go to guide these illegal miners, like police who go to guide these illegal miners, the chiefs, the government officials and people in authority who give licenses that are fake to people to go and mine. These are the real culprits. Why do you ignore them? Why do you go and burn excavators that, in fact, indeed, the excavators, are they really burning them? You are just burning, how can you burn metal? Do they really burn them? Maybe you probably burn a battery or burn a few things, but the whole skeleton is sitting there. What do you do with the whole excavator that you claim to have burnt and is now waste sitting in various places? Why? Today, because of populism, because Akufo-Addo want to pretend he's fighting, what do you call it, galamsey. Anybody with an excavator, whether the person is a contractor or whether the person is a miner, if you have an excavator now, people have to go and hide their excavator in some corner somewhere. Because if you don't hide the excavator, this populace will just come and burn the excavator just to tell the Ghanaian people they are fighting galamsey. But excavators are used for many things apart from mining, for construction. So why is it that they're just chasing up every excavator, burning every excavator, and pretending that they are fighting galamsey? They are just dressing the soil. It does not solve the problem. Akufo-Addo and his government, they have the national security in their hands, they have the soldiers in their hands, and the security forces themselves are breaking the law. The security forces that they've sent to the forest to go and fight galamsey themselves are engaged in galamsey. So if you don't crack the whip on the security services, the forces, if you don't crack the whip on those who are supposed to enforce the law, but who are rather breaking the law, then it is you are wasting everybody's time. You are just pretending to be fighting it, and Ghanaians are wide awake. Ghanaians know that you are not really fighting it. And I can assure you that it is possible to fight galamsey. It is really possible. But if only we can take the corruption out, if only we can just take the personal interest and fight the real culprits, we can do it. But I don't think President Akufo-Addo has the moral courage. I don't think he has the moral courage because he cannot even crack the whip on his own.
But as it seems, there are a lot going on. Even with the burning of excavators that you have disapproved of.
Yes.
Truth is, the National Women Organizer of the MPP's excavators have been burnt.
That's right.
This is a member of the ruling government.
Yes.
The minister.
That's right.
Has been holding consultative meetings with chiefs.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Of one that, I mean, I know of one that was actually held in Kumasi when Otunfo actually spoke.
Yes.
And all of that.
Yes.
These are all measures put in place to make sure that we fight the menace. Are you saying that you've not seen what government is doing so far?
So because
to make sure that
so because the excavators that were burnt, somehow one or two belong to an MPP women's organizer, then it means that they are bipartisan. But does that also confirm to you that the people who are engaged in the galamsey are officials of the ruling party and the ruling government?
But I'm not saying that the MPP National Women Organizer engaged in galamsey.
Yes.
In fact, after her excavators were burnt, she provided documents that suggest that she acquired the concession legally. Her company or the company she works for acquired the concession legally. So we cannot say that she has engaged in galamsey. But what we know is that her excavators have also been burnt. And I'm saying that is it not a signal to everybody that it's not about whether or not the person is a member of the ruling government, but government would want to fight this head on to make sure that we see an end to it.
Justice, I actually think it's a signal that those who pretend to be fighting the galamsey are not serious. Because if you are serious, why would you go and burn somebody's excavators before even finding out that the person is doing legal mining? Is it so difficult to know who is doing legal mining, who is not doing legal mining? This is the government. This is the government that runs the state apparatus. So if the government is doing this and people are even coming to say, hey, you are burning legally acquired excavators that are doing legal mining, it means the government...
Can you hold that thought for viewers? Let's open the phone lines. My producer should open the phone lines for us to receive some few calls from our viewers. I'll be reading some of the Facebook messages and that of the messages on WhatsApp and text. I mean the normal text messages also. So the phone line should be open as soon as possible for us to take some submissions from our viewers. You can go ahead.
So you see, it shows that they have they have an ad hoc approach to the fight against galamsey. Ad hoc. There's no They are not thinking through it. They don't have any structure to it, and they are really not serious about it. Otherwise, you should be able to tell illegal miners from legal miners, because it is the government agencies that give these licenses to people to mine. So if your own party official is claim that she has legal license to mine, and yet this government machinery goes to burn her excavators, it tells you that they don't even do simple investigation. They just being populist. They just want to show that we are fighting it when they are not fighting it. If they really want to fight it, they won't even be burning the excavators. I ask you, Justice, the excavators. If you burn excavators,
maybe that was done to serve as a deterrent,
yes,
to persons who would want to engage in a similar act.
But
if I burn your excavator, what else would you use to, destroy the lands and that of the water bodies?
But you see, the man who can afford the excavator to go and do illegal mining, if he burn it, he can go and buy another one. If you want to deter the person who is doing illegal mining, the law says arrest them, prosecute them. If they have to go to jail, jail them. That is deterrence. If a rich man or a guy who is doing illegal mining can buy an excavator, he can buy another one if you burn it. And besides, don't forget there are people behind who are sponsoring all these illegal businesses. So if you burn the excavator, you don't deter them, because the man is determined to dig the gold. He will go and get another excavator. So it's really not a permanent or a sustainable solution to burn the excavators.
Now, we have viewers calling the WhatsApp line. Please stop calling the WhatsApp line. But my producers should open the phone line for viewers to call. I've asked that the phone line is opened, but I realize that they are calling the WhatsApp line, of which that is not the call line. Unfortunately, I cannot answer your call on the tablet. But my producer should see to it that the phone line is open for viewers to call and bring in their submissions. You can go ahead.
That's right. So this is what I'm saying. What I'm just saying is this: that it is not that the government does not know how to fight galamsey. They know, but they are not interested in fighting it. It's not in their interest, because galamsey is one of those quick sources of corrupt money for people in power who don't want to be accountable, and to cover up such that, for example, you know they've acquired the wealth illegally, but you cannot trace it, because you cannot trace somebody's wealth to galamsey pit. So most government officials and people who are in leadership, they acquire these illegal lands, they get excavators, they go digging, they're selling, they make a lot of money, and you cannot trace where they got the money from. And this same money they're using to sponsor, MPs, party executives, elections, etc., etc. Election just passed. This election that just ended. I mean, a lot of the money was from galamsey money. To me, who is supposed to be chairman of the MPP National Regime, is the chief galamseyer. He will come and show you documents.
These allegations.
Yes.
You cannot substantiate.
On the program, how do you want me to substantiate? By showing you what? What I'm saying is this. He can come and show you.
So can you prove? That.
Why? He himself has confessed that he was doing galamsey before he. In fact, some of the people in Ashanti held a press conference to say that the galamseyers, they put their money together to help the MPP, to help even to win the MPP to win power, and they expect them to be allowed to do their work. So this is an open secret, and they can come and show you documents that show that they're doing it legally. So they can have one land or two concessions that is legal, and they have a lot of illegal things that are going on. So your all party executives are culpable. We saw what is his name? Who to me come and sit on television displaying gold, try to show the whole world that he is a gold magnet.
He is into mining.
Correct.
And according to the person in question, he has a legal concession.
Correct. That's what everybody says, including the
legally acquired concession,
including the MPP National Women's Organizer, who also says she has a legally acquired concession. But today her excavators are bent. What does it tell you? It means that the story is not straight. The story does not add up. The story is not consistent. The government is pretending.
Well, do we have a caller? Hello? Oh, you can go ahead.
Yes. So the government is pretending to fight. That's why after 5 years, when they sent soldiers, when Akufo-Addo came, he said to an operation, what? There was no operation. That he deployed military people to go into the forest to go and fight galamsey.
Operation Vanguard.
Correct. Thank you for supplying me that. Operation Vanguard. 5 years. Operation Vanguard. There's no result. 5 years, Operation Vanguard has revealed that the military men who were sent to go and prevent galamsey became chief galamseyers. 5 years. And they are dealing with impunity. They will not even answer questions when they are asked. When even soldiers are caught on camera with their uniforms, with their names, they will not even explain to Ghanaian people. So the people that you've sent to go and fight galamsey, themselves have turned into galamseyers. So Akufo-Addo must just raise his hands in the air and admit that he has failed this galamsey fight and stop the populist gimmicks like burning excavators. Because really, you can only fool your party followers with that burn of the excavators. But discerning Ghanaians realize that the excavator burning is just a diversionary tactic.
All right. Those of you calling us on WhatsApp and on the tablet, the phone line is opened. You can call us on the phone line to bring in your submission. And I don't know if there are problems with the phone lines. It has to be activated as soon as possible. I keep calling for the phone lines to be opened. It has been opened, but unfortunately, I was saying that nobody has been calling when the tablet is being called on several occasions. The technical people must see to it that that is corrected. This one says, Justice, are the excavators not having owners? What did you achieve if you burned the excavators without prosecuting the owners? Ghana is a banana republic, and the other one I cannot pronounce it. Stephen in Kwabenya sent in that one. Well, this one says, good evening, Justice. You guys are doing a great work, especially Pan-African television, but there's a problem. Talking about all this will not solve the problem. It's better President Akufo-Addo and his people around him sit upright and fix the country. This is Richard from Hope. Richard, thank you so much for your message. This one says, Justice, before Galamsey is fought to the latter, unless the government arrests Chairman Wontumi, Charles Bisiu, Ofimpon Boateng, etc., and jail them to set an example for others. Eric A. Babite sent in that one. Eric, unfortunately, I don't know why those people should be arrested anyway, but unless probably you add your reason to that, I'll read that as well. President Akufo-Addo, who art in Ghana, clearing agent, corruption, family and friends, be your name. Thy hardship come, thy taxes are killing our business, as it is in every sector of the economy. Give us this day our doomsday timetable, and forgive us our freedom, as we forgive those who voted for 4 more aimlessly. And lead us not into hippic, but deliver us from reckless expenditure and excess borrowing. For thine is incompetence, for no water and doomsday, from now till 2024.
Amen.
Amen. Anyway, let me take that again. Oh my goodness. Who sent this? Unfortunately, he didn't add his name. But he says, Akufo-Addo, President, who art in Ghana, clearing agent, corruption, family and friends be your name. Thy hardship come, thy taxes are killing our businesses, as it is in every sector of the economy. Give us this day our doomsday timetable, and forgive us our freedom, as we forgive those who voted for 4 more aimlessly, and lead us not into hippic, but deliver us from reckless expenditure and excess borrowing. For thine is incompetence, for no water and doomsday, from now till 2024. And he has added, Amen. All right.
Amen.
The only place I disagree vehemently with you is for no water and light till 2024. Unfortunately, I won't accept it.
We don't want that.
This one says, I want to know from the president that why haven't they arrested the people who are engaging in galamsey but rather burning their excavators? Everything shows that the president is not serious with the fight against galamsey.
No.
Kozaman sent in that one. Thank you so much, Kozaman, for your message. This one says, please, your phone line is not accessible. Kakraba Akondolima from Drobo in Sumia. Thank you so much. I don't know why. I have called for the lines to be opened on several occasions, And well, I don't know what's happened. My name is Azongo in Jema Kitampo. The man is on point. Let him fire. Thank you so much for your message. This one says, good evening, Justice. Good evening, Justice. We were in this country when Mr. Swampofo, the chairman of the NDC, alleged he popped up, and was immediately arrested and being prosecuted. Charles Bissiou was caught on video, and yet the president decided to shield him by requesting for a raw footage. No wonder he was named as the mother serpent. Nathaniel Nati in Ashaiman sent in that one. Hi, I'm Seth Kotu from Western Region. We have bad cocoa roads. Instead of using the excavators for roads, they are burning it. Poor mentality. Thank you so much for your message. Justice, I don't think if President Akufo-Addo was former President Rawlings, I don't think by this time Ghana, has started practicing democracy. God bless J.J. Rawlings by Baba Al-Hajj in Bono East. Baba, thank you so much for your message. Let me take some few more and come back for us to wrap up. Burning excavators are senseless. I agree with him. This government, we are waiting for them. Okay, thank you so much for your message. My question is that who gives the mining licenses to mining operators? And if the licenses were given to the operators by human beings, then why should it be difficult to identify those involved in the mining activities and arrest them and stop pretending as if they are fighting illegal mining? You didn't add your name. You've sent in one, This one says, Jacob, I'm Jacob from Kadinga. I want to congratulate my brother Sakut. He's really hitting the point. Thank you so much for your message.
Kandiga, that's my village.
Oh, okay, all right, that's all right.
Yeah,
this one says, oh, that's all right. This one says, Mr. Justice, the name should be Mr. Appiah.
That's right.
Or you can say Justice.
That's right.
This is Richard, again from who I think Parliament need to debate on a book written by Ume, Ambassador of Poverty. All right, thank you so much for your message. I'm so grateful. Do we have a caller? Hello? Hello? Do we have a caller?
Hello?
You don't know where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Wasaguna.
Calling from where?
Wasaguna, Takwa, Wasaguna.
Go ahead with your submission.
I don't know. I want to say something. When they talk of the Galamsey people, you always ask what is the evidence? What is the evidence? I don't understand why people aren't asking the evidence. You can't catch somebody maybe taking money and you still need evidence. Tell this case, what he did, it was too bad. So you still want to know the evidence. Where will you get that evidence? Taking money from the person, the Galamsey descent is even wrong. So it's enough evidence.
All right, thank you so much for your submission. We are so grateful for your time. Do you have another caller? Hello, your name and where you're calling from? Hello? Do you have a caller?
Hello, I'm calling from Dobro.
Kindly speak up. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello. Go ahead with your submission.
I'm Katraba Kondolema, calling from Dobro in Sumia. Dobro in Sumia. Yeah, I would like to applaud the point my brother Sakut is making. Yeah, Katraba Kondolema speaking.
Well, thank you so much for your submission. Unfortunately, we are unable to hear you properly. This one says, good evening, Justice. The problem with us now is that evil has taken over.
Afternoon.
Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Kobe, calling from Agdin.
Go ahead with your submission, Kobe, in Acton.
Yeah, it's about a fight against Galamsey. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You see, I don't know what is wrong with this government. Why should you ban excavators? Why we need excavators to construct roads? You see, what your man is talking about is true. He needs to be given an appointment as a minister because he's hitting the correct point. In fact, this country, we are moving backwards. This government, I'm really disappointed in this government for voting for MPP. Come to Western region, a place like Kutukrum and what have you, we have cocoa roads there, and there is no excavators to help in the construction, and we are banning excavators in this country. Where are we moving? You see? So this country, it's about time we need to reason. It's about time we need to reason. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your submission. We're so grateful for your time. The problem with us now is that evil has taken over. Within the almost past 5 years, we have run down the country. Now there's no economy, and this facade of fighting Galamsey is only to continue to hoodwink those who continue to trust our current leaders. Come and see what happened at Ono during the funeral ceremony of Sir John today. In fact, this country is doomed. I wonder why all of a sudden the impression is created that until free SHS, our children were not schooling. My heart bleeds for the future of this country, and maybe we do not care because we think we would have been dead and gone by the time. I pray we live to see the effect of what we are doing now before we pass on. Albert in Adenta. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Chairman Olabode Williams, calling from Nima.
Go ahead with your submission, Chairman Olabode Williams.
Thank you very much. My brother, I want to first of all commend the senior man in your studio. In fact, he is speaking the truth. Today, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bamia have woefully failed Ghanaians. I remember in 2016 to 2020, all what they told Ghanaians, now social lies, propaganda, deceit. Today, what are we seeing in this country? Guiding people, Ghanaians can no more talk. What did they tell us in 2020, before the elections? That they were going to stop Galamsey, they were going to build hospitals, they were going to build schools. Today, Nanado, Dr. Bamia have woefully failed Ghanaians. These are a bunch of wicked people. Master, today when you come to Nima, we can't afford 3 meals a day. The good people of Nima are complaining bitterly. Ghanaians thought Nanado was coming to do something. But wherever John Mahama is, God must bless John Mahama. And at John Mahama, we saw numerous developments. Schools were being built, hostels were being built, roads were constructed, water projects, everywhere. Excellency John Mahama, God will continue to bless you. We are waiting for 2020, inshallah. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will have to come back and rescue this nation. But for Nanado and Dr. Bamia, these are wicked people, and Ghanaians will never forgive them come 2024. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your submission. We are so grateful for your time. This one says, Justice, please stop playing the devil's advocate and allow Sakut to flow. He cannot have a blank check on the program. I'll definitely interrogate some of the things he's saying. I'll provide, some of the information, that are available to me, to him. So unfortunately, I'm not playing the devil's advocate. I'm just doing my job. Good evening, Mr. Justice. Many excavators cannot solve the problem, but they have to put pragmatic measures to keep the situation and re-strategize themselves and stop the corruption and stop the corruption and their super incompetence. If not, they are putting dust and throwing tantrums into the eyes of the people. They should rather arrest them instead and shame them. Auntie Dana Daniel from Asante Mampong sent in that one. Thank you so much, Daniel. Do we have a caller? A caller? Anyway, all right. Let me come back here for us to to wrap up. I think our time is up. Finally, what solutions? What do you think, if government does, will see an end to this situation?
Well, first of all, I think that the MPP and President Nana Akufo-Addo, they aren't capable of solving Galamsey. They indeed are not interested in solving Galamsey. They are interested in exploiting it. But what they do, and they are specialists at it, is to find cover to bamboozle the Ghanaian people into believing falsely that they are fighting it. They are not capable of anything constructive for this country. In fact, 4 more for MPP and 4 more for Nana was a big scam. It was a big scam. Because they cannot even fix Galamsey, they cannot fix Dumuso, they cannot even fix, common water. In fact, now Dumuso, when it goes, your light goes off, it takes 48 hours. 48 hours. When my light goes off, 48 hours, I don't get light. And these are the people who said that we have excess power in this country. So for me, I think the best thing Ghanaians should do now, you've seen it clearly, MPP is not capable. And I'm sure Ghanaians cannot wait to just kick the MPP out of power because they cannot fix it. But if they want to even try, please, I've said it and I'll repeat it. If they want to just try, let them try by actually arresting the real culprits, majority of who are members of the MPP, prosecuting them. In the time of the NDC, I remember President Mahama prosecuted one of his own. You remember Abu Pele? Today there's a report that he's not even sick in prison. That was an NDC MP prosecuted by President Mahama under the NDC. These people have not even been able to prosecute a fly. So they're not capable. They have to be kicked out because they are a scam.
Thank you so much, my brother Sakut, for coming. I'm so grateful.
Thank you very much.
Good night. In fact, I love your show. I like the man. He's on point. Burning excavator or burning of excavators is it of any sense? Nicholas sent in that word. Thank you all so much for sending your messages. There are a lot more messages here I've not been able to read. Kindly forgive me if I'm unable to read your message. The Facebook messages, I didn't touch them because we are far behind time. This is what time will last on the program. Make a time with us. Same time next week. My name is Justice Appiah and the show has been Hot News. Goodbye.